Hi, my name is Matt Carroll with World Class Coaching, and with the help of Academy Sports Coach today, I want to talk to you about some set pieces that we can run. I don't know if you're like me. I dread the set piece session. You know, it's slow. It's going over things over and over again. It's repetitive. Inevitably you're going to have a bunch of kids that are kind of standing around playing on the defensive side, waiting for the instructions. You want them to pay attention. You want them to be involved, but for the most part, I coach at a high school level, and those guys are kind of zoning in and out, talking about third period or whatever it is, and you're trying to explain something to them, and then you interchange. A new guy comes in, and you make a sub, and it just becomes a whole thing. So I use the help of this book we have available on World Class Coaching called Deadly Set Pieces to kind of take a lot of the guesswork out of it. A lot of the thought process that went into this book is finding unique and fun set pieces that I think, even when you have those sessions, the kids are going to be engaged because of the quality of the set pieces that are in this book. So I'll put that in the comments so you can check that out on your own. But so I was inspired by it. I took a couple from there. I'll show you a couple of the ones that I generally like to use. But especially, at the high school level, you're going to find set pieces are incredibly important. At all levels, it's incredibly important. But I think high school is where you really can utilize it. You've got the physicality, you've got the aerial ability, and the defending for it really isn't that great. As we find, we move into the phase where kids can't really head the ball that much anymore, which is great for concussions. But then they come in, they're maybe lacking a little ability of how to head the ball as they get a little later in their ages. You can really utilize this to attack certain situations. So a couple we got set up here is we're going to have a free kick taker here. Probably just a little bit, probably 15 yards away from the box, 10, 15 yards away from the box. And one of the ones I saw here that I really liked was we have the movement of our players here crashing. Now you might have more players or less players, whatever you're going to do. But we have the wall here. So maybe they're a little tighter. Get a little tighter here. And they're blocking off that direct shot. So what we have is we have a single runner makes a run crashing towards maybe the near post just to get behind the defensive wall. And then we have another runner here, and they make that run behind again. And what we do is we have a player continue that pattern. So what they're thinking defensively is they're all making these runs. They're all making the same run. So all I need to just get to the spot, crash back. It's just like everyone else is doing. And they may take their eyes off the defender. So what we're looking to do here is have this last guy kind of make a more beeline towards the six. So when this ball is played, it's played over the top. And as the defensive side starts following the guys that are crashing towards the near post here, the far post is left open. He diverts his run, and we play over the top to this back post run, and hopefully get something off that. This would be for something where you really don't have a shot on goal. Maybe your free kick taker isn't the strongest free kick taker. He's not someone that you're thinking he's going to bang one out from 35 yards out. So this is one where you really can try to utilize the confusion of the moment to try to get something on the backside there, play over the top, and find yourself inside the six, inside the pomo with the ball in possession, and you've broken the entire line here. So that's really the advantage of set pieces. That's kind of really just a basic concept that I think you can utilize in a lot of your set pieces is the overwhelming crash with the dividing run. I think it's hard to match because the defenders are in that chaos of the scrum of guys running, and it's hard to pick out a singular runner like leaving that position. So another one I saw from the book that I really liked is we make our runs usually on the defender, right? He's one-on-one with him. They're marked up. He's trying to lose him, similar to like a wide receiver losing a D-back or in basketball, a basketball player trying to lose their mark for an open shot. I liked this one because what we have here is a run from behind the kick taker, okay? So this first run is going to come this way, and they're going to run to this wide space, okay? And they'll make the first run. The second run will come here into this area. So this player makes the first run. Now, maybe we fake here, a little trickery, try to push your, fake the shot over here to play it layoff. And maybe this makes this guy, or even, best case scenario, they all move. But we get this guy out here. Maybe we can play a shot to the near post. But we're looking for, hey, let's play it early. Maybe these guys move. Maybe it's just a half a step. Maybe they just, move a little bit over the side. If they don't, we can play this right down the line. We got to cross down into the low area. if they do move, this second run comes in late. Maybe they don't pick it up. The second run, so the first run makes their run along the line. We can lay it off to him, and he can play it in. Or they move. He makes his run. We play a square ball there. You've got the defensive cover. Okay, so the player moves from the to a defensive cover position. So if this doesn't come off, we do have a player behind the ball. And maybe this ball comes right here, right in the middle. We go around the wall. We can find a shot at the top of the 18. So there's late runs, and giving the player, it's what I would consider, if you watch football, the RPO, the run pass option. You're giving your kick taker a series of options based on the runs that are being made. Worst comes worst, neither of those runs come off. You play it over the top, and you try to find something from the crashing runs on the other side. So that kind of can scaffold and be an addition to the first set piece we talked about. So we're going to clear it here now. Now for corners. I have a couple corner plays. I don't like to overload and have 10, 15 corner plays that we run that can get confusing. What's my role here? What's my role here? And in high school, you have unlimited subs, so you're usually having a pretty eclectic lineup throughout the entire match, and you're asking 3, 4 kids. Maybe you pull the kid up from JV. Maybe this kid was not at that practice because he was hurt or something along those lines, and you kind of all falls apart. So I like to have 3 that we're just very, very good at, 3 that we're going to consistently run. Maybe we see a disadvantage in the defense that week, and we think we can run it a little different play, and we modify it. But have 3 base set pieces that we can all kind of go off of and run at the opposition. So we'll come from this side over here, over kick taker over here. The first one is just based off the same thing we just saw in the last one, is just an overwhelming crash into the box. All right, numbers in, and we're just going to make the collective is going to be a crash to the near post with the last player in there hooking off towards the back post, maybe making an arch. So if it does come over the top, because what will happen is I'll see players crash. We'll have, like I'm showing you here, where they're all crashing towards, one's going to the middle, one's going to the near post, one's going to the shorter run. And this last player crashes as well. And then the ball comes over the top, gets over the head of all these guys, and then this space is wide open, and we're vulnerable to a counterattack. So what I like this last player to do is make this kind of arching run. I like to call it the garbage guy, because any of the garbage comes over top. He's sitting out here. Maybe it's flicked on from ahead. Maybe it gets by everybody. Comes here. He's closing out everything. We're getting a quick shot off. We're not looking for him to dance because he loses the ball. We're in a little bit of trouble. Something quick and get a shot on the near side over here of the ball. So that would just be like my normal crashing play that I like to run, just to try to overwhelm them with numbers, give them a lot of freedom of movement so they can lose their marks and things like that. Similar to that, and I found this one always really effective against, so I stole it. We would really have trouble with marking this one. We'd always have a guy we would lose in the scrum, and it would just kind of be an absolute disaster for us. It's a similar ideology of crashing, but you're crashing from both sides. So what you're doing here is you have 2 sides of 3 crashing in here. And what they're going to end up doing is creating a bowl within the pomo. So where this player will end up is close to the kick taker. This player will end up over here, a little higher around the PK spot. This player will make a run here to above the PK spot. Okay. This player will make a far post run. That garbage run we previously discussed. I'm sorry. This player will make the far post run. And this player will make the opposite side of the PK. So what you'll find is we've kind of got this, we've got these runs being made in kind of like a bowl shape, and they'll end the same way if, without changing these players, the actual players, the images being used. You end up with kind of a bowl of players. So you're playing this ball into the box, and you're hoping that this bowl, or I like to call it a net of players, someone's going to be able to scramble in there and collapse the net on the goal and get a shot off there. Now, the last one I like to use is if I have a very talented player that can that can dribble, take guys on, and we're trying to create the space for him. So what I would do is I'd have, let's say, 5 guys here. 5 guys. And they would run it in line with a wall here, pretty close to the kick taker here. I'm bringing them a ball. And I would create assigned runs for these players. So what would happen is the kick taker would clap, and this player would then break off. They'd peel off, sometimes the defense would keep their shape. Sometimes the defense would read on our backs, and we could kind of read it from there. But this player makes a long run to the back post. This player reels off and makes his run. Or that guy made the garbage. He makes the near post. This guy checks off and he kind of makes a run to the near post here. This guy on the end makes a run to the top to keep things contained. And this player fakes like he's going back to make a run. So short little run here. And then he turns back in and checks back to the kick taker. So it's what we're hoping to do is if this player that was marking him follows the runs, he's going to be back in the box, and it's going to create space for the player that checked back and then came back in. So we got a player here, got this guy here, he's here, and hopefully the defenses follow those guys, and we can play with tons of space a short corner to our talented player that can dribble and take guys on, and hopefully he's cutting in and taking a shot from an angle or playing a ball through or something like that where he beats a man and he's creating space for the attack. So again, you can get as creative as you want. You can take these very simple dynamics of these corner plays and try to modify them to whatever your team needs, or just making changes to the runs. There's a lot you can do with this. And again, this book that we have here, Deadly Set Pieces, it's really great. It goes into the dynamics of it, the thought process behind it, so that you can go out and create your own set pieces based on some of the principles and fundamentals they're going to discuss in that book. So my name is Matt Carroll with World Class Coaching. I just want to leave you one last thing with the question of what are you doing for your set pieces? How do you train your set pieces? How do you make those, the set piece session that I personally dread a lot? How do you make that fun? How do you implement them in your own teams? So sound off in the comments, and thanks you for stopping by, and hope the session finds you well.